So, to the communication or assessment exercise. I've put some ideas together in the inquiry plan, but you'll best judge for yourselves what tasks would be most challenging and suitable for your learners. One idea I've added to this part of the inquiry, which is also a feature of all my Key Stage 2 topic plans, is the Learner Self-Evaluation Grid. To show how it works, I've compiled a grid which evaluates a learner's achievements in the course of Part 2 as a whole, but you could amend it easily enough to only cover the communication task by simply removing the references to discussion. This is a simple tool which really helps to empower learners in their understanding of their own achievements. It helps them to see what they must do to reach the standard they aspire to, and to assess how well they actually did. It's always amazed me how perceptive and honest even young children can be in assessing their own efforts or contributions, and they seem to like to know for themselves how well they are doing or how they can do better. The grid should also help teachers to define their objectives and expectations for the assessment exercise for learners of different abilities. What I'm hoping should be obvious by now is how much scope there is for devising challenging communication tasks which demand the use of key as well as subject skills, once we have topics or inquiries which are themselves challenging and engaging. Focus on learning experiences which stimulate reactions, views and ideas, and rich, meaningful assessment tasks will emerge naturally. Now we come to the all-important review of skills and conceptual understanding covered by this inquiry. Continuing from Part 1, we delved more deeply into homes and living conditions for poorer people in 19th century Wales, looking especially at how and why home environments affected people's health and life expectancy. Once again, our focus was on investigation, posing questions, gathering evidence from sources, discussing ideas and possibilities, drawing conclusions, posing further questions, offering reasons and explanations. Once again, the inquiry progressed in a logical sequence, with learners building their knowledge base, developing their understanding of ideas, patterns, causes and consequences. The sources we used were not only trustworthy and accurate, but also emotive, engaging and thought-provoking. Throughout the process, learners were required to call upon, practice and develop a range of wider learning skills, including speaking, listening and sharing ideas, recording and making sense of numerical data, reading information and ideas from texts, pictures, charts and tables, presenting their findings orally, in writing and through ICT. What's more, we saw a further demonstration that effective and informed planning in any topic or subject will always and automatically result in rich opportunities for key skills development, and thus preclude the need for additional artificial assessment tasks to be applied from outside. As for the details of the skills addressed, these are contained in the skills review document. This highlights the connections between all suggested activities, the historical skills, the LNF, thinking and ICT. The fact that many of the skills occur simultaneously in the same group of activities is further evidence both of how much overlap there is between these skills and frameworks, and how rich in learning skills well-planned investigations naturally are. At the same time, we also help learners to develop their understanding of the character and identity of Wales, i.e. the curriculum Cymraeg, their ability to empathise with situations, actions and attitudes of other people, plus their capacity to make sense of information in various forms and media. Above all, in these two interlinked inquiries, I've been trying to demonstrate two basic ideas. One, that if we want to see the whole curriculum as a solid platform for wider learning skills, as Estin are advocating, we must recognise that skills are bred from it, not implanted onto it. Concepts like literacy, numeracy and thinking are as natural and integral to all the foundation subjects as they are to English, Welsh and maths. Two, If we want this platform to be a fertile breeding ground, we must be prepared to teach and inquire in depth across that curriculum, at least from time to time as resources, time and inspiration permit. I'm certainly not suggesting that every lesson has to be a deep, all-encompassing probe into science, history, geography or RE, any more than all art, DT or music activities need to embrace complex principles of design or composition. But it would be a barren scheme of work for music or art if learners were never challenged to try to play a tune or practice some artistic skills. So a plan for history which never allows learners to explore issues, evidence or ideas for themselves will deprive them of the challenge they need to develop their full spectrum of capabilities and understanding. Contrary to popular belief, you see, the essence of history is not the story of the past. Versions of that story are the byproducts. The skills that define the historian, even 8, 9 or 10-year-old historians, are those of the detective, who investigates questions, evidence, ideas and explanations, just as they are for the scientist, geographer, or those who seek understanding of the purpose of life. One last point. I think it should be clear from the number of optional lines of inquiry I've suggested in this package that it's extremely difficult to estimate how long an inquiry like this should take, especially if we include both parts 1 and 2. Teachers can pare this back to its most basic form if they wish. This would demand less time, but would not present the same opportunities for the development of key skills in depth. Alternatively, colleagues could allow learners to get up a stronger head of steam and explore all relevant avenues of inquiry. Clearly, in the latter case, we're looking at several weeks' work. But this could form a major building block of the whole year's topic, alongside perhaps a study of working life. I'll say no more on that point now, as I'm planning video tutorials to support each of my topic plans for Key Stage 2 and the foundation phase, so I can give more explanation there. So, thanks once again for your time, and I hope you find some benefit from these free resources. If you are attracted to the idea of trying to implement a more inquiry-based approach and thus generating more genuine and meaningful skills-rich learning experiences, the Don Truman Educational Curriculum Support Materials cover history at foundation phase and Key Stage 2 and geography at foundation phase, all for £300. What's more, the approach I'm exemplifying through history and geography can be applied to your planning across a range of subjects to help unleash and harness the wider learning skills which are waiting to be harvested. See you again soon.